Well, thank you for joining me. So, Shannon, something really weird happened to your son, Tice. You got a wake-up call. What happened?
He took the ACT back on October 22nd. He did great on the verbal sections. He scored a 34 out of 36 in the reading section, was the equivalent of a 1550. Meanwhile, he got an 18 in math.
Scary.
And so I think that is terrifying as a parent when you are, midway through junior year and you've already spent, at least $1,000 just on math, SAT, ACT prep. And it seems to have been really not worthwhile. And even earlier this week, he told me he just doesn't think that he's good at math anymore. And he doesn't feel like he's as smart as he used to be. And just that discouragement is really something that I want to address and make him feel encouraged and empowered by going back and filling in these learning gaps, which are super understandable.
That's great. So you did a little bit of research on gt.school's website to learn about this checkup that we have to help with math. What stood out to you about it that makes you think it could help your son?
First of all, I love how the presenter explained how common this problem is, especially with kids that are probably, maybe sophomores, juniors in high school, that they're going through these standardized tests and they're really not succeeding. I think that is such an important academic benchmark for American students. And so I think that's really sounded the alarm. And I really want also Tice to watch that presentation because I want him to understand there's no shame in going back and revisiting fifth grade math, that it's really a very common situation. And I love the illustration of using like the Jenga tower. I even spoke to him about it. And he's like, that makes perfect sense. Of course, like the top is going to fall down because the base isn't solid. It's just really, I think, is supportive of what needs to happen so that he can be more successful, whether it's in pre-calculus or on the SAT or in graduate school. I think you have to go backwards before you can go forwards.
Yeah. So you had this wake-up call. I mean, you've had some challenges, and then this wake-up call of the ACT, that is a huge difference to be scoring a 34 on the verbal and an 18 on the math. So you and he are probably totally freaked out about that. Do you think that other parents realize that this idea of having like holes in their kids' math learning is a big deal? Or do you think a lot of parents are just kind of, apathetic or just figure things are going along fine?
I think it is terribly alarming. And perhaps not until you take a national standardized test like the ACT or the SAT do you really realize that there are holes. Because I think that there's massive grade inflation at many schools, public and private. So you may assume, oh, my child has, a 95 in Algebra 2, but then they take the PSAT and they do, abysmally poor. So I feel like that is when you really realize what has gone on or what hasn't happened, because grade inflation or the pandemic, it's really understandable that regardless of what type of school your child's at, there are going to be some of those learning gaps.
Yeah. You mentioned that you've spent thousands of dollars and your son's been working with a private tutor. What did your tutor say about this ACT result?
Actually, we're going to have a meeting to understand exactly what went on, but I'm not interested in spending any more money on this private tutoring because it's just useless. I mean, she doesn't have the capacity or the capability to go back and, basically excavate where we need to begin. And so that's why I feel that this assessment is going to be profoundly helpful and probably save me a ton of money, and also save Tice a lot of time, because being that we're midway through junior year, time is ticking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time. I'm excited for your son to go through our checkup process. We offer a money back guarantee. So if you are not happy with this assessment when it's complete and feel like this is what's going to help get your son back on track, gt.school stands behind this product because we believe this is a big deal. We want kids to be able to figure out exactly what concepts they aren't clear on in math. Because if we don't know what it is that we're actually supposed to be like working on with kids, then how are they going to go and do better the next time? And you've gone through all the things. You had a tutor who did the studying, but if they're not really clear, it's like going in and performing surgery without really understanding what the diagnosis is. So that's what our product is aiming to do. So I appreciate you letting us know how this goes. And we will kind of keep you posted throughout the process, and you can share your experiences with us.